Welcome everyone to the 75th episode of Fair the Burn. I am here with your boy, the one, the only, the big cat himself with the dog inside of him, Cougar Coburn.
It's great to be back, everybody. Welcome back to each and every one of our followers, man. We've been here a long time and we're still tugging along, and it's just good to be doing another pod with you, bro.
Give it a squeeze and then you sneeze. Blessings are coming back. Living in peace while not at ease and still loving to rap. Facts. Give me the keys, I'm down on my knees. This is not an act. Champion spree, hand it to me. I'm ready for the strap. Let's go.
Yeah, man, you too. And my first question off top, Cougar, is did you listen to my new album?
No, nope, I have not. I have not. How long has it been dropped so far?
It's been out for 7 days. It came out on December 1st. It's called Move Back by Craig Robbins. Robbins was with a Z because that's how you make it hood. Everybody knows that.
So how'd it go? How'd it go? How do you what's been the feedback? How have you felt since it's been dropped?
I feel good, man. I think I've gotten a lot of good feedback. I think that a lot of my friends seem to like the songs Monster and Move Back, which are the beginning and the ending of the album, so everything in the middle is probably garbage. I think a lot of people also like Absurdist. I mean, Absurdist has been out for a minute. I think the album to me felt more, how do I put this? It felt like more of a journey than Cigar. Cigar felt like a really good piece of work, but Move Back to me felt as though I was telling a sense of my story since coming back to college.
Kind of a new chapter in your life.
Yeah, and especially starting with Monster, you know what I mean? Like the lyrics are you can say what you feel, but that doesn't mean that it's real. They're all calling me a monster, but I want to be a rock star. Uh I get
Mm,
lost in the rhythm. Special drink like I'm Costa. And Paulo Costa is a UFC fighter that used to cut weight, and he would carry around this like this secret drink that he called it, the special drink, special juice.
right.
Um, so yeah, I get lost in the rhythm, special drink like I'm Costa. And yeah, man, so starting with that and then just moving in my progression of like not doing nothing's the next song, and it's talking about how like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not doing nothing. And I'm pretty sure that someday it's gonna amount to something. And just like the whole album just like I feel like starts with my return to college and then moves through. Which, when this podcast comes out, I will be done with officially. I will have no more classes, no more credits to take. I graduate in the spring with a theater degree.
Wow, bro. So how does that feel? That's pretty crazy. That's a big milestone. Holy
That's a
shit.
long time coming, bro.
That's
That's
a
like a
long time coming.
huge 8 years to get a fucking bachelor's degree in theater. So I'm gonna go work in restaurants as a waiter for the rest of my life. It's good, man. It's really good.
There
I'm
you gonna be
glad.
hitting the comedy and everything.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh,
We'll see.
that's awesome, man. Congratulations, though. That's awesome that that's coming up and that you fucking made it.
Thanks, man.
Real shit, dude. That's some real shit.
It
And
is real.
so I have a question for you. Is Absurdist on this new album?
Yeah.
I like because I've heard that one. Dude, that beat, good as fuck. Memorable intro, bro. Like pulls you in right as you get in, right as that shit starts. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, absolute genius decision on your part.
Thanks, man. You should check out the album. I mean, like even just the way that it flows with the album, like this last song fades perfectly into Absurdist, which is kind of like there's sections of the album that are a little bit clunky to me, but that's a really great moment. I feel like a part of the work is specifically between Catfish to Absurdist, the transition in between there. But thanks, man. Absurdist is a huge song. I feel like it's probably the best song I've recorded so far, and I am excited to keep singing. I sing more on this
Yeah.
album.
Yes. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely an absurdist. And that's yeah, like production and everything. It's just every time it comes around, bro. Every time you drop something new, it's just step along, a step along. You know what I'm saying? Like it's dope to see. Like just awesome, bro. And then the fact that you're getting ready to graduate. Like you, yeah, I feel like you've had a very busy year, and busy past probably 2 years in terms of when you started going back and just kind of. I mean, you started doing so much shit when you went back over there.
Yeah, it was kind of a slow build, you know what I mean? Like my first semester, man, I really wasn't involved in much. I wasn't doing a lot. I was really just chilling at my house and going to class. And I wasn't really involved with like any of the theater stuff when I first came back. But yeah, definitely like since the beginning of 2023, my life has been kind of wild for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's been just full speed ahead, man. So it's awesome to see everything coming to fruition and things are finally concluding and everything. Like it's just awesome to see, bro.
Hell yeah, man. Do you have a conspiracy theory board going on behind you with all of the weaves and the boxes that are happening?
No, it's just a bunch of ideas about like the Bible. It's called I named it. I came up with a funny little name for it. It's called Three No's, Two Eyes, and a Why. And it pretty much is just lays out some things that we know about the Bible in terms of like authorship. So like we know who wrote it, we know what they wrote, and we know they believed what they wrote. And those are
Mm,
three important things. But someone will say, like, oh, there's all these manuscripts that the Bible has. So then that means it's true. And that only shows one truth, not that it's what it's actually saying is true. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it's just kind of like I was just playing on the whiteboard, just drawing that shit up, and then it kind of like I was like, oh shit, three, two, one, like that's kind of funny, you know. So but no, I haven't had any good conspiracy lately, honestly. You hit
Uh,
flat Earth and it just kind of stops from there, you know.
uh, the so that Dave's been sending me about that recently since he's been reading the Old Testament are crazy, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he still doesn't like that the idea. He doesn't agree with it for sure. Which is what I was gonna ask if that idea is for the Council of Coburn that I've been seeing.
Oh yeah. The what idea? Sorry.
You're like, but your whiteboard with the three O's and two
Oh,
I's and a Y.
the right, getting all the um I mean, it really is kind of part of it, honestly, because that's what it leads right into is it's just the historical integrity, you know what I'm saying? And when you have a work that has no historical chain at all, like say like the Gospel of Thomas versus like the Gospel of Matthew I mean, bro, it's just crazy when we start looking into who attributed authorship, how early. When we look at, there's 10,000 manuscripts that they all 100% agree that it's Matthew, and they're coming from different countries, different regions, different languages, all that, blah, blah, blah. Um, it's just really interesting. And that actually kind of leads into the Billy Carson thing, if you wanted to kind of talk about that, because Billy Carson is this guy who he's a Gnostic, is pretty much what he is. And he's got a few million followers on YouTube. I mean, he's gone super viral for some of the stuff that he said. And some of his main claims have been that the Sinai Bible doesn't have the crucifixion recorded in it.
Oh, I've seen a video of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So he makes these claims that there's these other gospels that the bad people of the Christians kept out and suppressed and only included theirs. And he's like, well, there's all these other ones. And so he was claiming to this guy that the Sinai Bible, how do we know if Jesus was crucified if we have another document that's saying that Jesus wasn't crucified? And when you look into it, because when he said that, I was like, bro, that's if he's talking about Codex Sinaiticus, which he was, it literally is just a Greek manuscript with the ending of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the crucifixion in it. And so the guy just turns around and grabs that. He's like, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, I have this on my stand right here. Yeah, it's written in the Greek right here. Like, what are you talking about?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah." He gets on his phone and is looking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's actually I meant to say that's what the Gospel of Barnabas. The Gospel of Barnabas doesn't record the crucifixion." Um, which is like, dude, that's like saying, I love sports. I know about the NBA more than anybody. I have secret knowledge about the NBA, and I love it so much. And my favorite NBA player is Tom Brady. It'd be like, well, okay, like I guess they're kind of connected because they're sports players, but like because like Gospel of Barnabas is like a religious text, but like that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no history to it at all. It pops up in like the 14th century or something. It references a story called Dante's Inferno that existed in like 1600 or 1400 or something, but just like well after. And when this guy points this out to Billy Carson, he's just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I respect that. I respect that you believe that." All right, moving on. So should we talk about the Old Testament now? And he just totally.
Mm-hmm.
So he had nothing, bro, and then he ends up showing up at this guy's house at 3 a.m. and hands him like cease and desist letters
Oh,
to
damn.
take the debate down, to take the videos down and everything. And this a third party debater or podcast host that was Billy Carson's friend invited this like biblical scholar and was like, "Oh, it'd be cool if you guys kind of like had a little back and forth."
Yeah.
And he just got destroyed, bro, because when you get into these Gnostic writings, this is how part of the reasons that we can tell which one are scriptures and which one aren't is because they just have nothing to do with anything. They don't talk about anything. That it typically always just is like, hey, you're God and you can be God and you can exalt yourself. And like the Gospel of Peter had like a 50-foot cross and Jesus was like 200 feet tall and they were walking around and like the cross was like speaking to people and like dialoguing with people and everything.
Hmm.
And so they are just when you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then you read these other they if there was an outside party just like looking at them, it would be very easy to pick a line of like these ones go with these ones go with these ones. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
So
mean, the question of that for me then would be, do you think the Gospel of Thomas says that too?
Gospel of Thomas says what?
Like that you are God and you can exalt yourself to be God.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember what the verse is, but I do think that that's like an integral teaching. And it also part of like becoming male to inherit the kingdom of God is one of those things at the end that's like again in the New Testament that's not taught that that's a requirement to inherit the kingdom of God. You know what I'm saying?
Or like the as above, so below shit.
Exactly. Right. That's like this common pattern that's like, well, yeah, like these guys are really focusing on this. These guys are really focusing on like, yeah, just like Jesus came to me and told me something secret. And now I need to tell it. Now I am writing to everybody that this secret, it's all about secrets.
Mm.
And when you get in, like, that's just Gnostic, it's just straight Gnostic information. And then when you get into it, there's no eyewitnesses. There's nobody that's saying, hey, God, Thomas wrote this. So the only thing that we know, the reason that we think Thomas wrote that is because it's written at the beginning. Hello, my name is Thomas and I'm writing this letter or whatever it says, but it says Thomas is writing this letter at the beginning, but
Mm.
that's it. And it's like, well, that's not very good reason because if it was Paul's letter where he says, my name's Paul, the first critique is like, well, anyone could write, my name's Paul. But then if you have 10,000 manuscripts that are also attributing that, and you have 8, 9, 10 people who are attributing authorship to you as well, 100% through and through, it gets pretty overwhelming in terms of like knowing what is what. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that is a plight that I did have with your Council of Coburn was when you say 100% of like contemporary scholars all say that they wrote the Bible. What do you mean by that?
So it would be that during the ante-Nicene period, which was before the Council of Nicaea, anyone that accredited authorship to Matthew for his gospel accredited Matthew. There's no
So
one that
you're talking about people during that time.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. And so those are the eyewitnesses. So that's the two eyes, the three nose, 2 eyes, and a Y. The 2 eyes are the eyewitnesses of Jesus and then the eyewitnesses of the New Testament documents. And that's the ante-Nicene period. And so when you have these guys who are spread all over the place that are not even close to each other, and they're saying, hey, I got the book of genealogies and it's written by Matthew. Hey, I got the book of genealogies and it's written by Matthew. It starts to become like, okay, only on top of that as well, the manuscripts on the title pages are saying the Gospel of Matthew. It's like, well, yeah, what would the evidence be that it was anybody but Matthew? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how it is with just about every single one other than Hebrews. And Hebrews is like, all of them are like 100%. And then Hebrews is like 7 for 9, where people are like, yeah, this is Paul, this is Paul, this is Paul. and 2 or 3 other guys are like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure who it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's really no question. The biggest one would be Hebrews, and Hebrews is honestly pretty straightforward as well, which I'm going to be like, this second video that I'm going to have is going to be diving into all those. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. No, Cougar, if I could tell you a story real quick, because I feel like this pertains to it.
Yeah.
Before I do, I'd like to ask you a question. Do you think that people need to be believers in Jesus to watch this podcast?
No. I try to frame my vocabulary in a way that hopefully someone who's a non-believer can take it in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I come from that. I'm an atheist, so that's kind of where my language and thoughts come from.
And I feel like we encourage all sorts of dialogue and points of view on this podcast because we appreciate everyone sharing the knowledge and the wisdom that they have that could be derived from God or could also just be from themselves, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I invited one of my old friends to do a episode on the podcast, and they wrote back to me and said they were busy and they'll see if they have any time. And then they sent me a message that said they'd watched a few episodes and they didn't think it was a good idea to come on the podcast.
Mm.
So this is me asking you after I answer what you think about that. And what I think is I think this podcast is about coming together and finding middle ground and agreeing to disagree and always having the ability to have things challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was I was hanging out with someone the other day, and I had mentioned to them that you were a possible non-globe believer,
Mm-hmm.
and they looked at their roommate and they were like, "Can you believe that?" And they said, "Well, the fact that you can question that is honestly just goes to show that you have to question everything." Like the fact that
Mm.
you can question the globe, I think opens up the discussion of like, what can you truly believe? Which is why I love Fair the Burn, because we question what is true and
Yeah.
what do we believe, and we aren't afraid of any topic.
Mm-hmm.
So this is me just opening up. I mean, I'm gonna have a drag queen on the next episode. You know what I mean? And so I think that because whatever group you're related to or whatever, everyone is welcome here. Everyone's open here. And Cougar, I would like to ask you what you think about that too.
I understand. I have been deleted by a lot of people for sharing my opinion that I thought honestly that I was like a good friend to. Um, it also just shows who is wanting to pursue truth and who isn't. Really is what it comes down to. A really good tactic to maintaining your beliefs is to not engage in a direct manner. Because honestly, that's like the Billy Carson situation. Is like it can when it's permanent and you're doing a video, it the stakes are very high, and the excuse of like, oh, I don't want to platform you, and you have nothing to say to me, that is like, okay, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do think that Jesus is the truth, and so when we're pursuing the truth, I think that that's what Jesus is the truth. Um, I don't I don't hate him for thinking that, but I do think that that's not, if that person then is trying to portray themselves as someone who's trying to pursue truth, I would say I have some pushback against that, because um, just like you said, to pursue truth, you have to be able to sit down and hash things out. I mean, shit, man, there's so many things we haven't agreed on, that if our philosophy was like that, we wouldn't have made it past episode 3 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't have lasted. And so yeah, I would just assume that that person does not particularly care to be directly challenged. And that seems, like I've been called a lot of names on a lot of posts, but when I try to directly engage and ask specific questions, I never quite seem to be able to get anywhere with that. It's just kind of the big headlines of whatever you want to slap on somebody to make them seem stupid or inferior or what have you. And so I would challenge kind of that group of the group of tolerance and the group of acceptance. Where is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how come my beliefs and my ideas can't be tolerated and accepted as well as theirs? And then if that's the case, then we have a conversation to have if it's like, well, one is right and one is wrong. Okay, well, then we can talk about that. But we're no longer in the realm of anything is right and everyone has their own opinion, because they say that and then they look right at somebody else and say, but your opinion is wrong. Everything is subjective and nothing is right, but your opinion is wrong and your opinion is wrong and I'm right. Okay, well, we're not in subjective territory anymore. We're saying objective things. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just a lot of love to that person. I hope that they would want to come on and talk. I mean, there's we're just two stupid guys who are just trying to figure out what's going on. And we have honestly just thought that the best way to accomplish that is to talk about these things, not to say Mormons are idiots and toss them to the side, but like let a Mormon come on and talk about what they believe. Wouldn't that be the answer? Instead of just like, what if that's how we approach everybody? No, oh my gosh, like Mormons, they have nothing to tell me. They're just, it's like, well, yeah, you're just pretentious, man. Like these people
Dude,
have a lot to say and they have a lot of beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the
so that's
fact
kind of
that we
that's kind of where I'm at.
the fact we really had Mormon missionaries on is so crazy.
So dope, bro. It's so dope.
So crazy, man. Uh yeah, and I even told this person, I said, if you have issues with things that are said, feel free to come and express them. Like,
Absolutely.
I just want open conversation. I want open dialogue. I think the only way you beat bad ideas is with good ideas, and therefore you have to let the bad ideas exist.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I have to say about that. And in regarding right and wrong, Cougar, your boy Sean Combs has been in the news a lot lately. Now, the funny thing I think about the Diddy parties, and I don't know if I've said this on here, is uh I love how every celebrity's like, yeah, I partied with Diddy, but I left before anything got too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So what
Mm-hmm.
was it? Like did everyone leave? Is it just Diddy,
Just Diddy, bro.
naked with the lube?
Absolutely, just Diddy. Not anybody else. Conveniently, they all happened to leave. That's the after party. They were all at the party, but luckily, no one stayed around but Diddy for the after party. Hey man, LeBron James said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party."
Hey man, and so now we're just getting a lot of accusations coming out, some here and there. Cougar and I just saw a story of a young girl under the age of 18 that is accusing Jay-Z of doing some dirty with her when she was younger, unconsensually, with Diddy. And I think we're gonna find a lot more of those, Cougar. I think there's gonna be a lot more people coming out, and some will be pushed under the rug because of money.
Mm-hmm.
It surprised me that the Jay-Z one got through, and it's kind of interesting because I just finished my last college play, and I was talking with this guy in the dressing room, and he was like, "It's just so weird to me how whenever people get famous, they start like cheating on their wives or cheating on their husbands or like fucking around with kids."
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just something about being famous that everything else must be so mundane to you because you have the money. And this is like a concept we've brought up a lot, especially with like Marina Abramovich, uh, and the work that she does. I heard before the podcast you told me you have some intel on the Diddy situation though.
I just had this interesting lyric pop up um, in if you want to go I want you to read this. I want you to read this out loud. So go to Google and type in "What's Beef" by Big and do lyrics. So again, this is all veiled in like, haha, oh, I wasn't being serious. And so again, this doesn't prove anything about anything with anything.
Okay, where's the lyric?
Okay, so scroll down where it says, so it's like it's at the bottom of verse 1, where it starts with "don't."
Don't they know my neighbor? Gutter fucking kidnap kids. Oh shit. Fuck them in the ass. Throw them over the bridge. That's how it is. My shit is laid out. Fuck that beef shit. That shit is played out.
So I think that Epstein shows that anything is possible, and the Diddy parties are just breadcrumbs. The the reason the Diddy shit is more entertaining because they're going to be people that we know, just like
Mhm.
Jay-Z. But Epstein, it was a bunch of people that we didn't recognize their names, but they're a scale. They're in another class above the Hollywood elite, which is very interesting. But anything's possible, man. They were doing some weird shit out there, and a lot of people knew it. I mean, it's just like R. Kelly.
Mhm.
R. Kelly gets arrested for having these fucking freak parties, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what R. Kelly?" And they're all making jokes about it in their music and doing stand up, making jokes about it. It's like, yeah, they're called open secrets. You know what I'm saying? And that's what R. Kelly was. That's what Epstein was. John McCain's wife, who was the head of the child trafficking in Texas for safety, like protecting kids from trafficking, was like, yeah, we all knew what Epstein was doing. We just no one knew what to do. We didn't have any power to stop him. So it's like, yeah, so these secrets can exist. But everyone knew about P Diddy before, long before this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like long before. You can get on BitChute and find a documentary that was posted like 10 years ago, and it's running through all the gay rappers that everyone loves and takes in. That all of a sudden it's like, yeah, like Diddy's like putting his finger in his mouth, and they're doing some things that's like he like gets up and like nibbles on his ear and shit. And it's like, again, bro, you guys can do whatever you want, but like you're fronting as if like being a gang member and being gay is one thing, but then they're acting certain ways when they think that the camera is off. It's just hypocrisy first off, and it's very strange behavior second off. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, bro. I think that shit's gonna just show us what we've known for a long time. Everyone's aware of this shit by now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not surprising in the very least.
Yeah, I think I've actually that's funny that you bring that up because one of my bits recently that I've been working on is about like weird music. And one of the things I say is, does anyone know the lyrics of "My mind is telling me no, but
Exactly, bro.
my body is telling me yes." Like, how did we not know R. Kelly was guilty from then? You
Absolutely.
know?
It just dangled in our face all the time, bro. Shit like that all the time. And we just so people were singing that. That could have easily have had pedophile undertones that people were singing with their soul and taking it, and they loved that beginning of the song, and it was a pedophilic
Yeah.
hinting lyric. Okay, how many other songs are we fucking screaming out that are like that? Probably a lot more than we realize. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fucked up.
I wonder if Biggie lived next to P. Diddy.
I bet they did, bro. I bet they lived nice and close to each other.
You know what I mean?
They were good friends, bro.
Well, and yeah, that's the thing about P. Diddy too, is like even all the time people would be like, "Oh, don't hang out with Diddy, don't hang out with Diddy." Like, Diddy parties are crazy. Like, or even the Epstein stuff, man, because people have been talking about like Pizzagate for a long time, or like
Mhm.
Alex Jones was talking about it, and then you have, there were high end people there. I mean, Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, there were celebrities that were over there too. So, but I agree
Absolutely.
with you. I think P Diddy being more of like the common layman, like hang is gonna, and like the white party. Remember, like the white party that
Yes.
he
Oh
did
yeah.
and shit.
Yep. Ashton Kutcher. I mean, there's all these names that everyone is so shocked and surprised. And it's like that's the real question is who was facilitating and funding these parties? And that's when you get into executives. That's when you get into the away from the common man and more into those powerful power roles. And there's a lot of interesting patterns that go on in those positions. The common man is very diverse. There's white people, there's black people, there's and everybody in between. But you get up into those executive positions and where power resides. And I was looking at this list of politicians that have taken money from Israel.
Mm.
It was like it was the APAC tracker. So APAC is Israel's like every politician has an APAC person that they check in with like weekly and have lunches with and get on the same page with. So
Both sides.
Biden has what's that?
Both sides.
Both sides. Oh yeah, both sides. Biden has received like 12 million from him. Trump got $100 million donation from this Israeli billionaire. Um, Kamala Harris. who was it? Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. You know what I'm saying? Like take your pick from both sides. The top 10 most popular politicians have been taking money.
Mm.
That's very interesting. And so that's where I think that a more significant conversation is going to lie, and that probably won't happen. It will be more like, oh my gosh, did you see that such and such was at Diddy's parties doing this? And like, there's bigger fish to fry. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be some bigger things going on that people are facilitating. Like, he's like a bishop on a chessboard. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? He's one of those guys. So he's like the gatekeeper. And they're like, all right, we'll put you out this door. We'll put you outside of this door right here. And you let the people in who are willing to play ball. Don't let the people in who are not. He's just one of those small little pieces, just like Epstein, bro. Epstein was a little piece. He's a little face. He's the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think
Or
the
he's the
lady
face.
was?
He's not the guy.
You think the lady was the face too?
Absolutely.
What was her name? Do you remember?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Her dad was in the Israeli Secret Service, bro.
But do you think her dad's the guy? Or do you think
No,
it's just Israel?
Israel is the guy. They all trace back to common powers, bro. And so like the fact that there was a man who Epstein, that's a Jewish name, he had access to any military base without any authorization needed, any credit. He could just fly into a military base at any point. He had that kind of access.
Mm.
How does that work? Oh, bro, who's in charge of our military? Did you know Trump just appointed this lady? I can't remember her name on his cabinet, and she said
Tulsi
that we should
Gabbard?
give. No, it was I think her first name might be Emily, but I can't remember. She said that we should give Israel as much money as they ask at any point in time for any condition or any reason. We should give them as much as they want. So it's like, okay, well, and then when we say, well, yeah, the entire U.S. military backs Israel, well, who's powerful here? You know what I'm saying? Who's got the power here? It's not P Diddy. It ain't P Diddy and Justin Bieber
Or Aiden Ross?
or Aiden Ross or any of them that we see, bro. It really isn't.
I mean, there's so much going on. And there's, a lot like just like in the spiritual realm compared to the physical realm, there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't even realize. I just talked to my buddy about the good drug DMT, and
Mm.
he had possibly recently had some or had gotten a hold of some, and I was like, just make sure if you end up doing that you take a couple of days, because I've heard from a lot of my friends that life can be real slippery afterwards, real
Mm-hmm.
weird. And I think that it can be like that too, which is why, I try to focus on God and Jesus and the things that I can control, because I feel like if I start getting too deep into like the who's running the world, I'll just kind of lose myself, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Well, it's a ball that's been rolling long before our great grandfather was born. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, and is still in cohesion with that movement that pre-exists our great grandfather, that is still moving today in cohesion with its movement back then. You know what I'm saying? And we are just like, oh wait, who? I don't even know who my great grandpa is. Like shit. Oh fuck. Like we're Gentiles, bro. We have no traditions. We have nothing. We just like to drink and have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so we have to reel that in. We have to try to talk about these things and at least bring some attention to like, yeah, it's not like the Democrats are the evil ones. You know what I'm saying? Like the Democrats are just being like a great distraction right now. You know what I'm saying? They're like great at like, well, there's important things to talk about, huge distractions going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just saw a video of Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that he thinks that men and women are equally the same and should compete in sports together.
It's crazy.
Where's that headed, bro? Where do those ideas come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's
The
pushing it?
patriarchy, brother. That's the men trying to keep the
Ooh.
women down. You know what I mean? That's them being like, yeah, sure, you're equal. Come play in the NBA.
Come
See
fight
how
a
many?
UFC fighter. We'll see who.
Yeah.
I wonder who would win. Oh, so
Um,
it's crazy, man. It's
It's
crazy.
crazy, dude. Speaking of distractions, I recently went to my first NFL game with my mom,
Oh, very nice.
her boyfriend. We went to the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. The NFL recently changed their kickoff so that you know how like the players for the kickoff used to be by the kicker, and then as soon as he kicked it, like they could run down and go try to
Mhm.
tackle them. Now you have the kicker, and then you have all the dudes like 30 yards down ahead of him, and then the other team has their players like 5 yards apart, and then you have two kick returners. And they can't start trying to tackle the guy until they catch the ball. That's when they can move.
Damn.
And I think it's to prevent injuries and stuff like that. But it's football, man. How safe are we gonna have? It's like taking the gladiators and being like, "Hey, don't actually try and kill each other."
Mhm.
You know, just it's like the
Just act like it.
WWE, man. Just like you're saying
Absolutely.
all the time, it's rigged.
Absolutely.
These motherfuckers are out here wearing guardian caps now, dude. They're wearing like foam. You already got foam on the inside of your helmet, bro. You don't need foam on the outside. Football is gay, bro. It's so gay. Like listening to the fucking announcers and then being like, "Oh yeah, he's really laying the wood on him there." Like they're just trying to make us all gay. Great hole, he's getting good penetration. I'm done with football, bro. I'm probably just mad because I'm losing in fantasy and like I have like an 11% chance to like make the playoffs and
Oh shit.
probably not gonna make it, but I'm never gonna stop believing, man. I'm probably just pissed off, but it's just all gay.
It ain't the 11%, it's the gay, man. That's what it is. It can't be the 11% chance.
Which is
The
funny because that's how gay I am. I'm 11% gay. So it's my chance of making the fucking
That
playoffs,
is fucking
dude.
hilarious. Yeah, that's it does feel gimmicky. It does start to feel gimmicky in ways where yeah, I mean why even have a kickoff is just kind of because we expect a kickoff, but like I'm sure if they could just take it out, they would prefer to just do that. Because again, like yeah, do you send your top receiver out there who's your best returner to go out there and like snap his ankle on a stupid run back to the 18-yard line or some shit? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right?
it's there's these tangible reasons why they have to do it, but it's not like football came from somewhere that it's starting to become no longer. Just like the NBA, bro. NBA ratings are falling horrifyingly bad
Bad.
because it's just a 3-point contest. And I love 3-pointers, bro. I fucking called that shit. That's how I played 2K back in 2K11. I'd put like 33 pointers up in a game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That is so what was the stat that I was watching this video on that like the stat was like 4 years ago there were two teams that shot like 20 or 33 pointers a game, um and it was like the Golden State Warriors and the Celtics, and now that's or players, sorry, and there were like three or four players that shot over, what was the average, say 10 or some shit, and now that number is at like 30 or 40 people who are shooting that many in a game.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, that's the best strategy to do it. But now it's going to become gimmicky because people are like, well, the basketball is boring to watch. Basketball is boring to watch. And it's like, okay, well, what, like, okay, so it is about entertainment then. It's not just about a little play your hardest integrity game. It's about entertaining the fans. It's not about doing the best strategy, because if the best strategy is boring, they may change the rules to make it harder to then make it more interesting. Okay, well, that's WWE does that shit. They tweak it. So I guess we could change, if everyone's down to just change the whole game. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, if everyone's gonna be entertained by it.
It is sports entertainment, man. Even like the UFC. Like there's times with the UFC that if a guy's holding a guy down and he's not quote unquote working, like if he's not trying, like if he's not doing enough, then there's a lot of times that they get stood up because they're like, well, it's more exciting to watch each other punch each other in the face rather than like wrestle on the ground.
Right.
If and like let's say that like the guy's trying to do something, but the other guy's preventing him, like it's no longer a matter of skill. It's a matter of like, are you being entertaining for the
Absolutely.
ratings for the viewers?
And I understand that as a to have a business, man, you have to do that. You can't have two guys laying on each other, not doing anything for 5 minutes of pay-per-view prime time. Stand them up and let them punch each other in the fucking mouth until they bleed. That's what we got. We need that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the parameters are. It's just the unfortunate situation.
Yeah, every sport is just sports entertainment now. Like, did you know a couple of years ago they added a pitch clock in baseball?
I did see that. That's
Yeah, so
interesting to me.
because the pitchers they said were taking too long to like throw their pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say that you're like deciding, you got to look at the coach. Now it's like football where there's a play clock. You have a certain amount of time to get the play off. You have a certain number of time to get the pitch off. And even now, there's this new rule called the golden bat rule that the MLB is going to put in, where if you are down and it's like the last round, like the last inning, the last out, and just some rando on your team, right, is up to bat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have someone like fucking Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron
Mm-hmm.
or the new guy Shohei Ohtani that everyone's crazy about, and he's on your team, now you can just go golden bat rule and you just send him out to hit.
Damn. Because, yeah, I mean, yeah, like having the best hitter out at the best last moment. Wouldn't you want that versus some guy you've never heard? As a
Well,
fan, absolutely.
it creates tension. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because now it's like, oh, well, anything can happen now because
Yep.
our guy is on the diamond. And it just makes me think, bro, like, what if we had a golden bat rule? Coog, like if you could bring back anyone from the past to like just set some shit straight right now, like who'd you pick? If you had a golden bat for life.
I'd probably tap in Hitler.
Oh my God, why? Uh-huh. Gotta get the Fourth Reich going, man.
I mean, I just, you could just be like, hey, what was that all about?
Ah, yeah, I have a few questions for you. It's like
Give him a little nudge. Come on.
like give me the numbers. Like really give me the numbers. You know what I
Can
mean?
you bake 6 million cookies in 8 years in 6,000 ovens? That's the question.
Yep. I think the answer is probably yeah, if you have enough coal going, brother.
To bake a cookie, it takes a certain amount of time. If you throw more cookies in, it takes more time. It doesn't just because you throw more cookies in does now not mean they'll all cook the same at the same time. You have to have so if it takes say 14 hours to fully cook a cookie all the way through, and you put 5 cookies or balls of dough in the oven and try to cook them all at once, it will quintuple your time it will take to break down the cookie, is what I would say. But yeah, so that's who I would golden bat rule probably.
Well, if you're bringing back Hitler, then I'm bringing back Churchill. So, so I'm gonna need something to stop what you
That's
got
only
going on
fair. That's only
with
fair.
your cookie operation, bro. Oh
Oh my
goodness. Um,
No, it really is turning into very gimmicky. Just like if you watched when the Celtics won the championship a few years ago, last year, 2 years ago, and Jason Tatum, dude, was like, "Oh, well, yes, we did it. Anything's possible. Yes." And bro, all these memes of just like this dude is like a fucking C plus grade actor who is like trying to be like trying to pretend like he's really happy when it's like that was when I was just like, holy shit, dude. Like the illusion is greatly falling because like I thought I was just being a hater. And then when I saw all the memes about it, it was just like, dude, people see that shit. People see the inauthenticity that like Kobe had authenticity. KG had authenticity. You know what I'm saying? Even LeBron and Steph, but like it ain't the same now. It is not the same as it used to be.
I feel like a lot of people are getting woken up to it because of the Mike Tyson Jake Paul thing too, man.
So bad.
And I knew it. Like I told people from the beginning, I was like, y'all are getting robbed. Like I get that it's on Netflix and everything, but like y'all are just getting robbed of your time. Like nothing's gonna happen in that fight. And even in the post press like fight conference, the guy in the ring, Ariel Helwani, was like, Jake, it looked like it was pretty nasty in there. Were you trying to hurt him? How did his power feel? And then Jake goes, yeah, I was trying to hurt him a little. like just saying like a little, you know what I mean? Like trying to be like, yeah, I was trying to like sell it. You
Hey,
know, I was
this
trying to
up a
make sure.
little one too. Bounce around a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all entertainment, man.
I think we would be shocked at how much more things are like that. Um, just like with just with players playing and like needing a certain amount of stats, and then when they get that stat, they stop shooting or they stop trying to pursue whatever stat because it'll affect their percentage. And so it's just like my small business has taught me that the income is a big factor when you are running a business, and you are going to try to take of all the tangibles that you can take care of as many as possible fully all the way through, that you won't even have any question at all if that they will go wrong.
Yeah.
And then you have players who are trying to keep their position within these spaces. So it's not just, oh, like he passed out because he thought that guy was open for the three. Well, no, he passed out because he was thinking of his contract and he didn't want to miss a layup. And so he was like, well, I'd rather just throw it right here to this guy and let him do his thing. Well, that's not basketball anymore. That's entertainment. That is entertainment right there. Is like everyone's thinking about the bottom line, the bottom dollar. Kobe gave a great, and Michael Jordan and LeBron kind of less so as it's gone on, but like I love basketball and that's it, and I don't care about the money. But like that's long gone. These boys now, they love that money, bro.
Yeah.
They love that money and they're good at basketball. They don't love basketball and have money. They fucking love the fame and the celebrity status and the money, and they're good at basketball. That's what it is. And you see that with Jason Tatum, who could put up 40 in any league in the past 100 years easily. But like he doesn't love it like Kobe. You can see it when he won that shit, bro. You can just see it. You know what I'm saying? So
And same for the NFL too, man. Like just like I feel like most athletes that are getting paid those big dollars, like if they have skill over passion, they'll see the money and they'll try to take that. So I don't think it's just entertainment too. I think like you're saying, like I've said for a long time, people don't care until you affect their wallets.
Yep.
You know, as soon as you're
Absolutely.
affecting their wallets, that's when shit gets real and that's when people are going to actually give a fuck. So yeah, man. Cougar, I feel pretty solid. I think that we've done a good job here. What do you think?
I think we did good, man.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, the newfound Burley Cats. This is what we're calling ourselves officially. This is the end of the name change. The Burley Cats. Me, Trent Garcia, Alex Austin, and Frank Gonzalez. We will be at the open mic at Club Charlie's on the 11th of December, and then we will be doing a roast battle versus the Comedy Project on the 27th of December at Club Charlie's in Pocatello. Get tickets. Be there. Justin Briscoe, Tiffany Fief Briscoe, all the Burley Cats, roast battle. Cougar, tell the people what to do.
Get there. Get your tickets. Motherfuckers.
Keep burning.
Keep burning. Thanks for watching. Love y'all.
To all that be in Rome, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that I roam. Promised and for by his prophets in the holy scriptures concerning his son, Jesus Christ our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the Son of God with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, by the resurrection from the dead, by whom we have received grace and apostleship, for obedience to the faith among all nations, for his name, Jesus Christ, among whom I also called Jesus Christ. To all that be in Rome, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome. To all that be in Rome, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome. To all that be in Rome, I am ready to preach the gospel.